Hello there, yes, it's Matthew Miller on this Eco podcast. I'm going to be talking about masks, COVID cards, and tyranny that the lockdown has bring upon people. Well, people, welcome to the Eco Liberty Show, and from the quote from Charles Bradlaugh, it says that without free speech, no search for truth is possible. Yes, indeed, there's a great quote from Charles Bradlaugh. Yeah, because without free speech, no search for truth is possible. So, well, and that's why we gotta appreciate the freedom of speech and really use it to speak about the news that I'm doing today. And yes, New Zealand COVID praise to mask agenda analysis. Yeah, they want us to wear masks, and we know that it's not good for our health to wear masks probably even for a short period, from my point of view. And I'll be getting to the video why. Yeah, Jacinda says the evidence has changed, that we are now in a different situation to previously. That we are previously to rewind to May when the Ministry of Health commissioned a review of available evidence at the time. Well, they're not going to show the evidence of why masks are bad. They're not going to show us that. Yeah, they're not going to show us that. So, of the available evidence at the time, that of its reported Chief of Science Advisor, Dr. N. Town, after going through some various studies, the review found there was parental beneficial, also parental harm, but the science wasn't conclusive. Well, let's get to the video that we were about to get through about the face mask. Let's get to that now.
Finally, the use of face masks. The Ministry of Health has updated its advice on the use of masks by the public as part of our ongoing response to COVID-19. We've seen elsewhere that masks can play a role in helping us to reduce the spread of COVID-19 when worn by the public where there are cases of community transmission.
Well, it doesn't do much good, Doctor. No, it was, to the House Minister, it doesn't do you much good. Chris Hicksman. So, and I'm about to show you the video why, so.
I want to restate here, there are currently no cases of community transmission in New Zealand. The World Health Organization suggests that people should be prepared for the use of masks before the need to use them arises. So the ministry
yeah, they say, oh, you need to use it just so it protects you from all. It's very small. The price is very small.
is now recommending that as part of our collective preparations for any future outbreak of COVID-19.
Well, future outbreak. Well, do you know that masks? Do you know that as you breathe out CO2, when you're wearing a mask, you actually end up breathing in your own CO2? Yeah, so. And he's advising that as well, so I'm going to show you that video. Well,
households add sufficient masks for everybody normally resident in their household to their emergency supply kits. Just as we are prepared by having food and water set aside in the event of a natural disaster, we are encouraging New Zealanders to have a supply of masks set aside at home in the event of a further COVID-19 outbreak.
Well, it's good to have food, because you got to eat food. But you can still go fine without masks, because, man, because do you know what masks do? Because they actually breathe in oxygen. Well, people, I'm going to show you the video anyway. Let's get to it.
We'll do a little test here today. A lot of people are saying they're getting headaches and stuff from wearing the mask that they're requiring us to wear pretty much everywhere we go.
Yeah, so people be saying they get headaches from wearing masks. Well, it's going to probably about to show you why.
And I'm going to test oxygen level under a mask using an OSHA approved air quality.
Are you watching Dr. Ashley? Dr. Ashley Boomfield, are you watching now? And also Chris Hicksman, are you watching? Because, man, he's about to show you why wearing masks is actually bad for your health.
Monitor that tests for oxygen levels, hazardous gas levels, LEL, CO, NH3, H2S, stuff like that. This monitor is bump tested every day. It's calibrated every 30 days. OSHA requires 19.5% oxygen to work in a space. Look it up. Normal oxygen level.
Well, let's go back a bit.
Work in a space. Look it up. Normal oxygen levels is anywhere from calibrated every 30 days. OSHA requires 19.5% oxygen to work.
19.5.
Work in a space.
Workspace.
Normal oxygen levels is anywhere from 20 to 21, right in that area.
20 to 21.
So I'm gonna do a little test here. I'm gonna put the sampling tube at the corner of my mouth, and I'm not exerted. I'm just standing here. So we're gonna put it right here. That's going straight to the air quality monitor. And we'll see what the oxygen level is. So I've got 20.5.
20.5. So that's the oxygen level in that area. 20.5. Well, I can't really see it, but I can see the 2.
6. That is the oxygen level without the mask. Now I'm going to set the camera down, put a mask on.
He's putting the mask on. He's going to do the testing.
Okay? Do the same test hose in the same spot. You can hear the alarm going off.
You hear that, people? That's the alarm. And he's wearing a mask. That's to know he's not getting enough oxygen to his body.
That means that there is a hazardous atmosphere.
Hazardous.
And we'll see what the levels are.
It's about to show you.
17.4.
No, now 17.5. You said it was 17.4. But it still went up by a 0.1%. That's too low, people. And he's telling us to wear masks. Do you know what Ashley Boomfield and Chris Hicksman? You're actually going to be causing harm to the public. Because the facts don't lie, people. And they're telling us to wear masks, and they're going about to make it mandatory if it goes into alert level 3. So
17.5, it's starting to go back up. Okay. It's going to clear at 19.5. And that's what is required to work in a space. So if you're wondering about headaches and stuff like that, there's why.
yeah, people, because you're not getting enough oxygen to your body. And he's actually going to do, it's like, yeah, it's going to bring a lot of load to your lungs because you're breathing in your own CO2. So let's just continue what Chris Hicksman and Dr. Ash Boomfield are saying about masks.
These do not need to be medical grade masks. They could be reusable or the single-use masks that people see online or in shops.
Well, it doesn't matter what mask it is, because as I'll show you the video, the atmosphere rating was 17.5. and you're breathing in your own CO2 as well. And
Masks will be most useful when COVID-19 is present in
no,
the community
isn't.
and people are mingling in close proximity to each other, like at work or in social situations. Currently, at Alert Level 1, which is where we're at today, it is not necessary for the public to wear masks because there is no evidence of community transmission here in New Zealand. If we move to Alert Level 2, the public will be encouraged to wear masks in situations where physical distancing is not possible, such as on public transport or in shops. If there are further outbreaks of COVID-19, masks will be another important component in our strategy for containing the spread of the virus, so that we can, if at all possible, avoid further lockdowns. This is, of course, in addition to strict physical distancing, hand hygiene, and most importantly, avoiding contact with others if you have COVID-19 related symptoms, all things we encourage New Zealanders to continue to do today.
Well, that's all I got to really show. Yep, and they're going to try and make it mandatory for us to wear masks in level 3. Because Ardern's trying to plan to bring a lockdown in sometime around August within like 45 election. And man, we're about 40 days away to the election. 40 days, people, in New Zealand. 40 days. And it's time to get Billy Dikaki car in. And well, people, and it gets worse on it, because do you know that coronavirus, I'm going to call it the Roma, call for mask day and outbreak drill. See, they want to bring in the drill. Or, you got to wear a mask, because you're going to be a hazard to other people, but you're also being a hazard to yourself. And they want to tell us it's for the greater good. Oh, man. And it's also in front of Ministry of Health, unless I'm going to go to that now. Yeah, let's go to the Ministry of Health. It says that if you choose to wear a mask when you push it or yourself, you need to how to use it safely. And this includes how you put it on and what to do while wearing it, and how to take it off, and how to handle it safely after to avoid risk of infection. Well, you're also doing harm by breathing in your own CO2 because all the masks pretty much stops the CO2 from escaping, and some may get out because there are little holes because the virus is very small. Never share face mask with other people. Face masks should not be worn by young children or anyone unable to remove it without assistance. Face masks should never be worn with who has trouble breathing. Oh. And it shows you why, which I'm going to let you decide on that, people. I'm not going to go through all that, but I'll have a link down there below as well if you want to read through all that from the Ministry of Health. That's the New Zealand Ministry of Health, people. And now it's time to go on to COVID cards. And yeah, New Zealand's going to be bringing out COVID cards, people. Another form of contact tracer, because some people might not want to have on their mobile phones or on their smartphones. So let's move on to that. So let's go to that. Coronavirus, hundreds of people will test the COVID card with the Bluetooth device. So with and there's the Health Minister Chris Hickson to announce the COVID-19 card trial. Well, let's go to that. Let's go to that.
There are 3 things that I want to address with you today. First, as I alluded on Tuesday, we're going to begin a field trial of another tool in our COVID-19 toolbox, the Bluetooth-enabled COVID card contact tracing technology. As we've said many times before, effective contact tracing is a vital part of our response. While the manual process will remain the critical element of our contact tracing system, we do know that digital solutions can make contact tracing faster and more effective. No single technology to solve contact tracing has been identified anywhere in the world. We're continuing to improve our existing tools like the COVID Tracer app, and I'll speak more about that in a moment, whilst at the same time continuing to explore other available technology options like the COVID card. Initial assessments have indicated that the COVID card works under controlled conditions and has the potential to make contact tracing faster. So we'll be carrying out further work over the next few months to see how it could be implemented in New Zealand. We will be undertaking a field trial in Rotorua, and that could potentially involve 250 to 300 people, and that will allow us to understand how the card works in a real-world scenario, whether it's compatible with our contact tracing system, and importantly, if the public would accept and use the cards if we were to roll them out more widely. A decision on whether to continue with the COVID card will be made later in the year. We do not anticipate that it would be made mandatory.
Oh, they say it won't be made mandatory. Well, they're going to probably say, oh, we're going to just pass a law and say you have to have it. Oh, man. Now he's going to call on states that COVID document done can consider mandatory IQ codes say within up to 6 months in prison for defiance. So I'm gonna just go to what they're gonna say. Another something I'm gonna laugh at, because that's what I always enjoy doing, making fun of those people, because that's what I like doing.
Managed isolation facilities stay as tight as possible, and that our frontline workers at the border are using PPE and other protective measures, and that they are also being tested. I do know that New Zealanders will join me in showing our appreciation for each and every one of those people who are doing their bit to keep us safe, and we will do that by washing our hands, coughing or sneezing into our elbows, staying at home if we are unwell, and of course, keeping our digital diaries. So on that, I wanted to pick up...
Digital diary. He said digital diary. Oh, here we go. Please keep a record in your digital diary. What do you mean, digital diary? Man. And yes, when you say you should stay home and rest up a bit, but also be sure you get some sunlight as well. I don't think he ever said that as well. To ensure you get some sunlight and get some vitamins in yourself. He doesn't say that. Why is that? Right, let's continue.
On a few points from this morning around contact tracing. There were a number of questions, so I wanted to run through what steps occur with contact tracing if there was a community outbreak. Contact tracing is a core public health response, and the basis of it is anchored in our public health units.
To do with
contact tracing teams firstly undertaking interviews with cases to get a full understanding of their contacts. Based on the recommendations from the Verrill report, public health units have been working on capacity uplift to support a potential rise in COVID-19 cases, and the national contact tracing solution is now in use by 11 of our 12 public health units, and the 12th will be coming on board by the end of the month. Nationally, we know that public health units can investigate over 300 cases a day now, with extra surge capacity available should it be required. The Ministry is working to build additional capacity in this area by training its own staff to do case investigation as well. The National Close Contact Service can currently make up to 10,000 outbound calls a day for contact tracing, and by the end of August, I've been advised that that will be doubled to 20,000 using surge capacity. A test of the contact tracing extended system is being planned with one public health unit by the beginning of August, and planning for similar testing with other public health units is also preparing to get underway. Finally, a few words on the Contact Tracer app. There were a number of questions about that this morning. I want to reiterate that the app is one part of a whole system of contact tracing that's being used, and it relies on every one of us doing our bit to ensure that it is effective. Even by downloading and registering with the app, you provide the Ministry of Health with your most up-to-date contact details.
Yeah, see, they want us to have it. Yeah, and they say they want to keep out. They say it's working. First, they had some issues at the start because they probably don't know how to do programming, but they're probably getting better at it. Which, well, let's continue.
Which is extremely useful if they need to get in touch with you as as a result of contact tracing for another case. So thank you to the 596,000 New Zealanders who have taken that step so far to date. If you're watching this and you are not part of that group, I encourage you to do it today. Also remember that any information you give to the Ministry of Health is only held by them
He
and
says,
only used.
what group? Well, the conspiracy theorists. Well,
for the purposes of contact tracing. So we keep saying it, we'll keep saying it over and over. We can't be complacent, and we do need to be prepared if new cases of COVID-19 were to emerge.
yeah, they want you to be prepared for the virus, but not be prepared to store food when the salmon and cans, or when another form of pandemic comes. It's called the bubonic plague, which is already happening in China now. So it's not already happening, but it's not a pandemic yet. But people are starting to get infected with the bubonic plague because when you don't get enough vitamins in that, you become nutrition. You become nutrient deficient means you become more vulnerable to any forms of diseases
in our community. If that was to happen tomorrow, based on the number of poster scans we're seeing, not enough New Zealanders would be able to remember their movements for us to efficiently trace who has been exposed to the virus and isolate them to stamp out its spread. So
it's all about isolating people. That's what it's all about. That's what the contact tracing thing is all about. So they can isolate you. Yeah, well, mate, that's why I don't have it. And I don't even plan to have it.
All play a role in doing something about that. So my message to all New Zealanders, please step up your efforts, scan wherever you go, and keep a record of your movements. If you're a business or a place where people go and you've not yet downloaded COVID-19 QR code, please do so. Please make sure it is put in an accessible place where everybody can access it, including those with disabilities and in wheelchairs. If the virus was to re-emerge...
Yeah, because they want to track your movement. Because when you say, oh, you got a virus, so we're just going to put you in isolation. See, that's why I don't have it, because if I don't have the virus, they say, oh, you've been deemed untrustworthy for the fact, and you've been spreading out rumours, what we do. Well, come and get me, mate, because I'm ready for you. Yes, I'm ready for you, because I've been training myself how to defend myself. And man, if you're going to try to force me in isolation, don't expect it to go well for you. Well, people who try to take me away, well, because I've been training myself, training self-defense though, and using melee weapons and that though, so I can defend myself, people, when they do come. Because when they do try and take away your speech, you have the Second Amendment that's in the US Constitution, but doesn't apply in New Zealand because we don't really have a constitution in New Zealand. So, so let's just continue.
Within our communities, we cannot afford there to be any delay, and we need people to be able to recall where they have been, so that tracing can happen as quickly as possible.
You can suck it, mate.
Questions, Kelly?
The government is going to insist on the New Zealand COVID tracer app to be used by hospitality outlets as a condition, one of the conditions for the borders to open.
No, we haven't had that discussion yet. Obviously, we want everybody to be using it. Whatever we do around compulsion and so on, we'll make announcements on that in due course. But at the moment, we want everybody to be using it.
Is it disappointing how few people take down?
Well, almost certainly.
Yeah, he wants everyone to be using it. Yeah, because it has nothing to do with right. It's all about tracking you. That's all it's about. Because if you say, oh, you have this and that, you have the Roma, so we can just take you away. See, that's why I don't have it, because I know I can't trust those people. They are not to be trusted. And fools to trust them, man, well, I had nothing to say for you.
Be additional promotional activity around this very soon.
And Nick Wilson has called this app doomed. Would you agree with this?
No, I don't. I think it's getting better all of the time. I think the feedback that I've had from a lot of people who are using it is that the ability to manually add in contacts where you can't scan a QR code, or where you get home and you realise, oh, I forgot to scan in, the ability to manually add that information in will actually make it much more usable for people, and it'll get them into the habit of doing it more regularly. Over the back.
Social engineering, people, it's just so they can get you in the habit of it. It's about, that's a form of social engineering. Yeah, people. Let's continue.
Are you confident that if we were in a situation of needing local or regional lockdowns, that we'd be able to manage that effectively?
Well, a local or regional lockdown would be very much an all-of-government effort, and that would clearly involve...
Yeah, she's going to try to do it before the election. I don't know why she hadn't locked down earlier yet, because... Or maybe because people are waking up, and to know that if she did lock down, people are going to rise up. She just knows she's scaring a revolt. Because we've probably been doing our job, people. That's why she hasn't done it yet.
The police and maybe even the Defence Force. So I think from a health perspective, and from the ways we have started working together, or been working together right through this, including in the managed isolation and quarantine, we have really well developed mechanisms now for working on these issues across government. So I'm confident that the organisations and agencies that would need to be involved in, first of all, providing advice around a lockdown, but secondly, enabling it to happen. Yes, that would be good. But I think, again, reiterating the importance of testing and contact tracing, those are the absolute pillars of us even avoiding a local or regional lockdown, and hence the importance of people being able to provide us with good contact information and also have a record of where they've been.
Yeah, well, a record where they've been, so they can track your movement. Well, I'm not bothered keeping a record of my movement because they know where I've been and that, though. And they can just suck it. Yeah, you can just suck it. So, let's just go to another sign language woman. Oh, well, maybe that other one was starting to get tired. Well, she was a lovely blonde. I can give her that.
2 months now. The number of scans daily has flatlined. New registration users and businesses have flatlined. Prime Minister just said earlier today that not enough people are using the app. Why don't you just this afternoon write a regulation that says, as Dr. Bloom...
He says there's not enough people using the app. The person that's actually acting the Chris Hickman, the Christian.
Businesses must print out a QR code and put it on their window. Maybe people aren't required to use it, but at least that has to be there for every business.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't rule that out. Obviously, we're going to be considering a range of different options. I haven't had that advice yet, but we'll be considering all of the options that we need to get the posters and the app much more widely used.
And did the delay in releasing the app, or was originally supposed to be out on April 20th, came out on May 20th?
Yeah, so they want people to get the app, and yeah, see, that's why they want to bring forth businesses to have the QR codes, so people's movements can be tracked. So people, I would advise you not to have the app, people, because man, it has nothing to do with health. It's about tracking your movements. And once they sort of like got the virus done with, though, they're not gonna probably ask you to get rid of it. They're just gonna probably keep the app, keep the contact tracer thing going. And there's also another form of contact tracer there. It's called the Climate Blue Footprint, and even Westpac Bank's been doing that as well. I got that on my website, which I'm going to go to that as well. I'm going to go to my website here, and I'm going to check it out there, and yeah, let's go to there. I'm going to check out the new contact tracer I was like going through, so we're going, come on, where are you? Yeah, it should be there somewhere. That's the Rockefeller's documents. I might have to go to my most recent page. All covered. Oh, where is it? Banks in New Zealand climate tracing. There it is, people. There is the climate tracer, and this is from the Westpac Bank there, and yeah, and it says that this Al Gore supported project uses the AI to track the world's emission in real time. So, and of course, the Apple's also have a built-in contact tracer with the Apple update with the operating system 13.6 update. So, I found that on YouTube there, and and I'm about to go to the one there, and there it is there, and see, this is the Westpac says that though. The Kogo has a picture of others that is in there, has partnered with Westpac. See, if they are partnering with any banks in there, they're going to tell you to have those apps. That's like how you spending on with the, it's called carbon footprint tracking. It's tracking your carbon footprint of you trying to change your habits. Trying to get you to start eating meat. That's what it's all about, people. And once the virus is done, they're going to change with the climate tracer app. Okay, that's my guess, people. And I'm going to continue on with the last bit and what I got to say.
Number, threshold.
Look, we haven't gone through all of that yet. Like I said, I've asked for a whole lot of additional advice on that, and I will make further announcements on that in due course. But
Minister,
I don't want to preempt that.
Perhaps I could just make a comment too. Just to reiterate the point is, you'll have heard me for many months, the app is an adjunct to the core contact tracing capability and capacity we have greatly upscaled in our public health units and the national capacity. So what it does is it provides helpful information for people to remind them of where they have been. But our public health units and our contact tracing centre nationally are also very good and have been achieving that within over 80% within 48 hours contacting those any close contacts. So the app is important, and from my personal use of it, I found it interesting a couple of days ago to go back through and look at my history and think, gosh, I wouldn't have remembered.
Well, I guess it stops over there. Still had another 10 seconds to go, but I'm just going to stop there now. Just see if it can play through again. No. I guess I have to end it. Just saw it buffering, so I'm not going to try. So I'm just going to move on. Let's just go on to my next. But this one's from Billy the Kaki Car, and he's talking about the lockdown. So let's go to it now, and let's go to it.
response is completely at fault. There is no basis for it. It's a faulty basis, and it's essentially a lie. And it disturbs me that the level of rhetoric that the media are pumping out on behalf of this government, the media that you and I buy when we pick up a Herald or we buy a newspaper, they are pumping out the fear again, preparing us all to accept the second lockdown. This second lockdown is going to be the one that they're going to use to finally destroy our businesses, destroy our democracy.
You hear that, people? He just mentioned that the second lockdown is all about destroying the economy, people. Yes, it's all about bringing down capitalism. That's why Jacinda Ardern wants to bring the lockdown in. And with our efforts, people, we actually had delayed her from bringing the second lockdown in. It still hasn't occurred yet. She said she was going to do it in the first week of August, but that hasn't happened yet because people are speaking out about it. And that is so delaying her from bringing the lockdown in. And man, because we know that, people, we are really doing efforts. We are really keeping the economy afloat by delaying her from bringing the second lockdown. That's an awesome thing what we are doing, though. And people, that's why we watch our videos, so we can keep doing what we do as well. So we can sort of delay, just to at least stop or at least delay Jacinda Ardern from bringing in the second lockdown. So, people, do share this video as well once it's up on YouTube. And I'm wearing the New Zealand Public Party shirt. Thanks for Billy's generosity. It's awesome. I am doing my show while I'm wearing this t-shirt because I know I'm promoting the party, because we want him in so he can make New Zealand great again. So let's just continue on.
And destroy lives. Ultimately, that's what's happening.
Yeah. Oh,
we've got to stop it. We have to stop it. And Advance New Zealand, NZPP, is the only party saying these things. Not one other political party is saying it. And when we have complicit left-wing doctors and scientists, so-called, pushing this untrue agenda, it totally disturbs me. And you know what? I'm sitting right in front of one right now at the New Zealand Lounge, one of the media commentators, and I feel like going up to her and having a go at her, but I'm not going to do that. Why? Because we've got more style than that. But I'm disgusted by them. I'm looking at her right now. Truly am. Because they're all part of it. Yes, we need answers. We need mass protest. If they do this, we need some mass protest, because if they're going to do it before the elections, that is not a good thing at all, because I am convinced that the reason why this government has been pushing for online voting and increasing the tally of mail-in votes is not for good reasons at all. Like I always say, never listen to the rhetoric, always watch the behaviour, and the behaviour is very, very deeply concerning. I'm still hearing from...
Yeah, deeply concerning, indeed, because the reason why she wants to push for online voting, so she can rig the election, so she can get votes her way, because the quote from Joseph Stalin says that people who take part in the election don't count the votes, but so those who in power counts the votes. A quote from Joseph Stalin. So people, this is really frightening what Jacinda Ardern is trying to do, and for speaking out though, we at least try to stop her from doing that, from bringing the lockdown in, or at least delay it before the election, because people, the reason why she wants to bring the lockdown is because she wants to stop any parties from having a voice other than her own party. So she really wants to shut Billy down, stop him from having a voice, stop him from having meetings. So that's why we got to keep doing what we're doing. So, well, this is what all got to say about Billy. I'm just covering about the key points, so let's just move on to fix what lockdown, the attorney, what lockdown had affected it. So let's go there, and Victoria had handed out 176 fines for breaching the Roma directions. And this woman has got a view. See, look at that there. People, this is going to be so disturbing. So, images that you're about to see is disturbing. If you're pretty sensitive, just don't watch it. Just skip through it. And let's just... Ah, come on. Ah. There we go. Loading, people, and see what we got here. Oh, the coronavirus thousands fed up Victorians fearing the interstate to escape stage for lockdown. Yeah, people don't want to be in lockdown because they want to enjoy life, people. That's why they're fleeing. Ah, look like that's not gonna work out. Come on. Oh, come on.
She's in pain. She's in pain. She says she's in
I'm
pain.
going with you now. I need to confirm your identification.
I don't have my ID.
Well, then where is it?
Good
It's in my mom's
grief.
car.
You don't have a wallet here?
No, I
Where's
don't
your
have.
mum's car?
It's close by.
No.
People, that's what tyranny looks like when we have
Your
to.
mum, and we're going to arrest you is because we can't confirm.
I was walking by. I was walking by.
Then how come she's told you that you're her daughter?
Yeah, she's my mom. I know.
Okay. This is serious. You need to talk to me. Where's your ID? Because you're going to be arrested if
It's
I
in my
can't.
mom's car.
Where's your mum's car?
It's there.
It's where?
It's
Over
there.
here. Is it walking distance away?
I don't know. Maybe yes.
You need to take this seriously because you won't be arrested if I can confirm your ID.
Oh, really?
Do you hear me? You won't be arrested if I can confirm your ID. Tell me how
I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yes, you are doing something wrong. You're out in contravention of the COVID restrictions, alright?
Yeah, all my restrictions, people. This is what it's going to be like. And when Jacinda Ardern's going to bring him the level 4 lockdown, we're going to be having the same thing that's going to happen in New Zealand as well. So, people, we got to say no to the second lockdown. And this is horrendous, people. It is really, really horrendous. And boy, look at that bruise. For crying out loud, people. And even you just going out trying to get some sunlight. Oh, we're going to arrest you for trying to get vitamin D. And this is really turning. And that's why mama people are fleeing. Going on the highway. Getting out of the state because they know they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to have all the police just coming when you're just trying to walk about, trying to enjoy your day. This is tyranny, people. This is really, look at all those cars, people. Look at that. This is it. This is just horrendous, people. And of course, and over in Los Angeles, you actually got Los Angeles to shut off water and power to homes hosting large parties or gatherings. Wow, people. The announcement comes hours after the city councilman David, who had introduced to monitor increased penalties for property owners who hold large parties in violation of health orders, people. Wow. Under the proposal, penalties for large gatherings could include water, power, shut-off, permit privation, and having a certificate of incorporation held or provoked any large close conduct, largely maskless gatherings in direct violation of the city emergency order and the county health order. So people, that's over in the United States of America. And say, oh, if you're gonna host maskless parties, oh, we're gonna shut off your power, we're gonna shut off your water. See, people, this is really madness. And it's also, lockdown has affected babies' development and behavior survey of 5,500 parent shows. As mother says, Ardern has become clingy, upset, and violent. Wow, people. See, lockdowns are really causing much havoc to the children, people. This is really horrendous. And of course, inside how New Zealand well, she's bringing it back in. And do you know this was published on 9th of August. She's bringing you know why she brought the virus back into New Zealand? By letting some people into the country that had it, just so she can use the crisis, to bring the lockdown into place before the election. That's what she's doing, because she wants a crisis. Because she says, oh, we can't let a crisis go to waste. We have to use it as an opportunity so I can get re-elected. That's what Jacinda is really doing, people. And that freaking smile. People. Man, people, for crying out loud. Every time I go and look at Jacinda Ardern's PR smiles on it. Business like smiles. Really. Crying out loud. Man. So hideous. It's just so hideous to look at. Really. Man, yeah. People wearing masks. Do you know you're depriving yourself of oxygen by wearing masks? It is because you're breathing in your own CO2, and yes, you're bringing load onto your lungs, and that though it's actually stressing your lungs out probably. I'm not a doctor, people. I can't really say much about, but I have watched videos from nurses and that though. I have a video of that as well. Yeah, look at the timeline, people. Yeah, New Zealand bans travellers from China to ride outbreak, though. Well, there was the news that says that, oh, we're not going to do any screening, we're just going to let them in. That was even before that, though. I could bring out some news, though, but bring out some articles as well, but like, well, you can see the timeline though, people. If you want, I'll be having a link down there below so you can look at the articles, go through it and research it yourself. And also, make out your own conclusion. You can do a YouTube video about it. And, well, people, it's about to go to my last one there. And yes, the COVID Roma. It's also the Corona virus, but I like to call it the Roma. The Roma. Northland man LG forced away into a isolation facility. Oh, why is that? Well, it says that a Sunday man has been arrested after forcing his way through events and talking to people in measure of isolation. I don't know why. They say, oh, no, don't you question the... It's just like... He faced charges of failing to comply with the COVID-19 orders and unlawfully being in an enclosed area. The man will appear in the Auckland District Court today. Wow, people. The second test was due to take place yesterday. Wow. Well, people, I hope you actually enjoyed this podcast, and it's been probably like about 15 minutes of it though. I hope you enjoyed it, but there's also one thing I'd like to show you. It's also, I managed to find it on the booklet though, when I was over at the restaurant celebrating my nephew's 5th birthday. Yeah, because he's going to probably be sent to government school as well, because the parents don't know any better, but Well, there it is, people. It says Jacinda. There's a formal propaganda was on the Jacinda new beer celebrate the Prime Minister's kindness, exceptional leadership. That's a propaganda that I found on the booklet, though. Was I mean, I was over at the pizza restaurant just south of Whangarei, and yeah, people, it's from the Double Vision Brewing Company, and it is promoting Jacinda's propaganda, people, and man. Well, people, I hope you enjoyed this podcast and got something out of it. And this is all I got to really say, people. I hope you see me wearing the Vili Dikaki shirt. And it's also the logo around here, though, so there it is, right here. Let me stand out there, look at that. You can probably see on the camera there, New Zealand Chocolate Party. Here, and yeah, it's on my back of my t-shirt there. I know you haven't had a good look at it though, but I really enjoy doing this podcast, so I hope you got something out. And this is all I gotta say for now. This is Matthew Miller signing off, over and out.